Faye will tell you. My my 3 belts I've got in the house, they're under my bed. I don't even look at them. But I got a WBA Continental and a WBA International. Now, a lot of people would have them outs up. But they don't interest me at all because they're not my goal. Yeah, they're along the way and I win them along the way, but they stay under my bed because it's easily, if they're up on the wall and whatever else, it's easy to look at them and sort of be happy with what you've done. I say, listen, bro, do you know, like, you acting like that, it's not going to get you nowhere in life. I just wanted to give him a little bit of, like, an education of how to sort of act and carry yourself. No one thinks you're big. No one thinks you're hard or bad or whatever just because you're saying that to me. From a council estate, there's no egos in a council estate. You'd be brought straight back down to earth.
Experience Real podcast.
Yeah, Joe, thanks for coming in, mate.
Yeah, no problem at all, bro.
Yeah, so bit of a drive down here, bit of a trek.
Yeah, like I said, Faye only told me he was 20 minutes away. I said, okay. I said, why are you picking me up at 5:02 for? And then ends up being like a fucking hour drive.
Nice drive here, though.
Yeah, it was lovely scenery.
That's how he convinced you to come, was it?
Yeah,
it was
to be honest, I might, when I retire, I might move up here.
Really?
Up this
Yeah.
way, yeah.
Well,
I was just on the way past. I was just picking out a couple of houses, thinking that's me there.
Yeah. Some nice spots around here, and
yeah, lovely.
Views are
lovely.
awesome. I actually had a boy who come in here who about 2 months after started renting a house in Crick.
Yeah.
Because he liked it so much around here. Yeah.
Lovely place.
Yeah. Where are you based now? Down in Cardiff.
Yeah. Concrete jungle, innit?
Yeah. Not your sort of vibe.
Nah, I'm one of them people. I just relax, like relaxing, and the countryside. I'd be in my elements.
Yeah, something about it in there. I think that's where we're built to be. I don't think we're meant to be in like cities, are we, and stuff.
Clean air, no one bothering you. That's what I want.
Yeah, same here, mate. Blessed to be around here, really.
I know. I'll swap you any day.
But it'll happen one day, though, won't it? You'll,
of course.
do you know what I mean? But yeah, so great last fight, mate. You got the win.
Yeah, main thing. Going back to that, yeah, I got the win. Good 10 rounds out. I wasn't happy with my performance. It wasn't the best version of me, but at the same time, it was all a new experience. I thought being no crowds, it wasn't going to be no different to when I was an amateur, but it was. I could literally hear a pin drop in there if someone did drop one. But and being, how can I say, being in the bubble and everything else, and then having the 16 months out, it did affect me a little bit, and I didn't think it would, but nevertheless, I got a win out, a good win against a good opponent, top opponents, in second gear. So if I can do that in second gear, who knows what I can reach in the future.
Yeah, I suppose you never know what's going to be like till you get in there, especially having that time off. Do you? It's gonna.
Oh, of course, you can do all the sparring in the world and punch all the pads, all the bags, and whatever else, and you can do everything to prepare. But until you're in there and you've got someone else throwing shots at you and trying to take your head off, it's completely different. So yeah, now I know what to expect, and I've got the ring rust off. Now, hopefully fight in July, and then build on my performance and put on a good display of boxing.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it'd be good to see as well. So is there anything lined up for July yet?
Yeah. Well, I say July. It could be July, could be August. So I just gotta wait and see. To put pen to paper and get something dotted down. Within either end of July or August. Either one, it doesn't really matter. You
hoping there's going to be a crowd in there then for that?
Fingers crossed. Yeah, because it's, like I said, it was a bit different. It was a different experience to what I'm used to. In my 12 fights, I've boxed in stadiums, big arenas, and whatever else. And when I boxed in the Millennium Stadium, I walked out in front of 80,000, or 75, not quite 80, but 75,000. Just before AJ, I boxed in the O2s, all these big arenas, and then I boxed in Wembley Arena with no fucker there. Yeah, so it's just like, it just threw me off. So yeah, hopefully crowds are back by then. I'd imagine like it's a kind of weird thing. I expect there's not the same energy in the room, is there? When there's all them people around, you're in there, you're buzzing for it, I expect, aren't you? And yeah, of course. It's not that. It's when there's a good shot thrown, the crowd roar or whatever, clap, but there was nothing. Like the first couple of rounds, I was catching it with a good shot. There was nothing. No feedback. I was going back to the corner. There's no one even clapping. I'm thinking, no, I must have got battered that round. But yeah, it was. I just hope to God his crowd's coming back.
Mate, it's a weird experience from the sideline as well. I watch a lot of UFC and stuff. And the first event they put on, or I think it might have been the second, when they were hitting each other, it was like hard to listen to compared to usual because it's so much more intense than when you're watching it with a full crowd. You can hear everything, can't you?
It's literally, and I when I was after the fight and I went back to the change rooms, I came back out and sort of caught a little bit of Lawrence Okoli, and you can hear every shot, and I'm thinking, oh my God, that sounded unbelievable, like hard. Do you get me? So yeah, I don't know if mine was going to sound as hard as what Lawrence Okoli's is. Obviously, he's a bigger weight and a bigger guy. But yeah, it's quite a different experience.
Yeah, definitely. So you had the was it 18 months out the ring?
16,
18.
16 months.
So like when you sat on the sideline waiting for your fight or whatever, what's going through your head in that sort of time?
It's just whether, like for me, it was about my hand with the COVID and everything else. It was everyone was in the same boat, but when it started picking back up and whatever else, I sort of missed out on that. But it was either a choice of getting my hand sorted, which I needed to because I was going to be moving on into bigger fights, and I can't really be going on to bigger fights with one hand. So it was a decision I had to make whether I got my hand done or risk stepping up and fighting someone at world level with one hand, which I didn't really want to do. So I got that done. But then what was going through my head was, is my hand going to heal the way I wanted to? Is it going to be okay when I've time to fight again? Because bear in mind, I didn't earn a penny for 16 months as well. So it's like I'm not earning a penny. What do I do? If it don't go back to normal, what do I do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to sell dogs. So like a lot of my cousins are dog breeders, so I'm gonna have to go and sell dogs or get a job. I might go into acting with Faya, but yeah, it was just one of them things. Like I didn't know really what to. It was just that sort of anxiety of thinking, is my hand gonna be okay? And when I started going back to the gym and starting to punch, I'm thinking, it's not quite right. Do I pull back on it in a minute? So yeah, it was quite scary.
I bet it's easy to like get in your own head about it as well, aren't you? When you're training, like worried you're gonna break it again or do what it.
For me, like I'm a overthinker. I overthink everything. And yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. Don't get me wrong, I'm quite a confident person. But at the same time, it's when you've had an injury like that, and it could potentially ruin your career if it don't heal the way you need it to. Then yeah, I started thinking certain things. I'm thinking, I hope this fucking don't put me right back. So yeah, that was it was quite a difficult time at times, especially through COVID as well.
Yeah, so it's a mad career, mind of the boxing, isn't it? Because you could literally, like yourself now, fantastic boxer, and then one injury and that's it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's crazy, such a mad thing that it could rely on something that could happen.
Of course, like one injury, that's all it takes, literally. Like it could be anything. You could do something like ACL or whatever they called in your knees. The ACLs.
Yeah, ACL.
And that's gonna put you back months and months and months. Because boxing to lose weight and whatever else, you rely on running. Yeah. So that's gonna put you. I say months, probably over a year. So by that time, you're still then trying to get back into the training and trying to get a fight date and whatever else. That's a year and a half, coming up to 2 years, whatever. Hand injuries that are close to a year. And then, God forbid, touch wood, brain scans. You only need to fail one brain scan and that's your career done. So, it's a lot to think about. It's just one of them things. Like boxing is such a it's an amazing sport, but at the same time, just one little injury can fuck it all up for you. So
it's full of highs and lows all the time. Like you said, waiting on them scans, and stuff.
Yeah. Well, like I have you have scans yearly, and I had a scan before this fight because obviously COVID, I didn't fight, and even though you're confident, it's always in the back of your mind, like I don't really take many shots, and I haven't been in wars. I haven't had a hard paper round. I haven't been on streets and having fights and whatever else. And it's always in the back of your mind. Oh, did I take a? And it's all, have I took a shot? Have I been hit with anything over the years? And I've passed the last 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, have I done anything? And I'm thinking, oh my God, even like when you're getting drug tested, I don't take anything. I take supplements and whatever else, but you're thinking, have I took anything that I shouldn't have?
Someone tapped me up, yeah.
Yeah, it's always in the back of your mind, so it's just little things. But yeah, it's it's with you only need one injury and that's it.
So with like the supplements and stuff, I know like the UFC and all, they got an approved list of supplements. Is that like same with you? Would you know what you can and can't take? Because I know certain companies have been found like putting stuff in they shouldn't have been, haven't they?
I think with the UFC it's a bit different. With boxing, especially when I was on amateurs, I was on a thing called Whereabouts. Now Whereabouts is with anti-doping. So basically, I think it's called UCAD. And UK anti-doping. So basically, Whereabouts is they came in, they pick certain people, and I was on it leading up to the Olympics. Now they will come in, you'll sign everything. You can't say I don't want to be on it. Yeah, you have to be on it. If they come in, suspicious, if they come and pick you, you're on it. That's it. Otherwise, you might as well call it a day. Now you're signing up, whatever. There's a week. They'll give you 7 days. In that week, you have to tell them where you're going to be at all times. Do you get me? So they'll say in the mornings where you're going to be. So my time I think was between 6 and 7 in the morning, and I had to be where I said I was going to be on them piece of paper. So Monday to Thursday, I was in Sheffield, obviously in my house in Sheffield because that's where I trained up there. Monday to Thursday, so they could come in my times Monday to Thursday to my house, and if I wasn't there, I'd have a strike on my list. Now, Monday to Thursday, I had to put training times and where I'd be when I was training, obviously at the Institute of Sport. So they put I'd have to be like between 12 and 3. Now, if they came and I wasn't there, strike on a list. I have 3 strikes. I'm done, banned.
Yeah.
But if they came outside of my times, then I'm okay. But I remember the one day I got tested on a Monday up in Sheffield. I got tested on a Wednesday up in Sheffield. I went home on a Thursday, and I was living in Birch Grove at the time, and no one really knew where I lived, like randomers. And if the people that knew where I lived, they'd ring before they came. So I use my buzzer go. So I looks out the window. I was just about to sit down and eat my Indian. And I looked out the window and it was anti-doping. I was thinking, fuck me. I've been tested. So I started getting my ear off now. So I've let them in. I said, hello. They went, oh, it's anti-doping. I said, mate, you've tested me twice already this week. They went, oh, it's not, can you let me up, please, Joe? So I let him up. He was there from like 6 o'clock till about 11 o'clock at night. Bear in mind, like I had to eat, following me around. If I go to the toilet, he's got to come and watch me piss, all that sort of stuff. Weird, so it's just mad. And like, but at the same time, yeah, it's annoying, but it keeps the sport clean. And a lot of people, especially in other sports, get away with certain things. And I think boxing is good in a way where they do end up, if like people are taking drugs and whatever in sports enhancing drugs, they do catch them eventually. It's
definitely got to be a place for it, because at the end of the day, you're in a position where you can injure someone to a point where they're never the same person again, and that's with or without the drugs, mind, isn't it?
Yeah, but of course. There's a lot of people out there that really they take them on deliberately. Then there's people that are a bit naive when people are giving them, oh, you have this. Yeah. They don't really think about it and they take it. Me, if it ain't got informed sport on it, I ain't taking it.
Yeah, yeah.
And same with like tablets and stuff like that. There's a site you can check all that called Global Joe, and I've done it since I've been on the amateur system. I'll search it, even if it's like, for instance, Lemsips. You wouldn't think Lemsips are banned in boxing, but they are.
Are they?
Yeah, in competition they're banned. Now, night nurse and day nurse, night nurse ain't banned, but day nurse is. So it's just like, and night and day nurse come in one box on sometimes. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful what you're taking.
So easy to get caught out.
So easy, so easy. But a lot of people are a bit. It's just laziness basically. It takes you 2 minutes max to check it online, and I've done that all my boxing career. So yeah, I won't be failing no drug test.
Yeah, I suppose you get to the point you kind of know what's what as well, don't you? After a while.
Yeah, after a while, but
so you still though they could change what they put in as well. Can't they? So
Exactly. So that's and it's not that if you haven't got Informed Sport on it, it haven't been batch tested. Now you could have a supplement of just protein, just normal protein, but it could be in a factory where there's a load of other stuff being made, like basically dust, but it looks like the powders, isn't it? So them particles could be in the air and drop and settle into the protein that you'll be taking. I know it sounds stupid, but it's possible. Or it gets mixed. So you just got to be careful in what you're doing. And like I said, it's if it ain't got Informed Sport on it, I don't take it.
Expect all the bodybuilders in the gym are looking for the ones without it on, aren't they? Like,
yeah, of course they are.
Give me a pump on, like.
I don't know if they're taking supplements, but I know they're taking other things.
Yeah, they definitely ain't passing, like.
No, of course not.
But yeah, mate, I think so 2021. Obviously, you're talking about fighting July, August. You hoping to get another one in after that, or?
Yeah, I want to be as active as possible. I'm 30 in December, so don't get me wrong. I'm not an old 30. I know 30's getting on in boxing terms. You're starting to come towards either your peak or coming towards the end of your career. And I haven't been through hard fights. I haven't been in wars. I haven't had hard spars constantly. Like, how can I say it? Like, I haven't been cut. I haven't had a broken nose. I don't really get hit.
Yeah.
Boxing is about hitting and not getting hit. So for me, I want to fight in the summer, then December time, and then I want to be out probably 4 times in 2022. So yeah, I just want to be as active as possible.
Looking to get after them world titles then?
Of course, that's what I'm in boxing for.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously you say you're in it for the world titles. Yeah. Obviously people who aren't, the second you either get the world title or if that was off the table, would you carry on? Like, was that?
What do you mean if the world titles won there?
Yeah, if they weren't on the table ever, would you do it for the love, like, or was it?
Yeah, I love the sport, don't get me wrong, but my goal and my drive is to win a world title. So if that's taken away from me, then no, I'd always be involved in boxing. But unless then, if that was taken away, if money was good, yeah, I'd fight. But at the same time, because I got to look after my family and provide for them. But if the world titles were off the table, I probably wouldn't fight.
Yeah,
but I'd be involved in boxing some way, one way or another. I'd find something to do. But yeah, that's my main goal, is to win a world title. So that's what drives me.
Yeah, I suppose it's always that balance of like risk reward, isn't it? Because you are putting yourself in harm's way, and if your end goal is the world title, that's kind of what you want to be aiming at. And
of course,
no doubt, mate, isn't it? You'll.
I suppose with the podcast and everything else, your thing is to experience real podcasts on a global stage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's the same thing. If you couldn't do this, if no more, or whatever else. So if your platform was YouTube, for instance, and they decided to take down all your videos, there's no point in doing it. Do you get me? Because if YouTube or Facebook or whatever other platform ain't allowing you to post, no one's seeing it. So there's no point in it.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So it's the same with boxing and same with anything.
That's it, mate. I think when you're going for something, unless you're aiming high, aiming to be the best, aiming to excel, then you're kind of stuck in the mud, aren't you? So
of course, yeah.
Yeah. So you talked about your family into selling dogs and stuff.
Oh yeah. We sell dogs. I got a few dogs myself. But yeah, my cousins Adam, Luke, Tony, they all sell dogs.
Yeah, I think I see them on your story and stuff a bit. Like, yeah,
sell dogs. They're to be honest, they're some of the biggest dog breeders in the UK. So
Really?
well, they got their own dogs. Yeah. So
Yeah, some serious money in it now as well, isn't it?
of course.
I've got like a mate who's into like sheepdogs and stuff, and they're going for mental money. You just can't believe it.
Yeah.
He's talking like 10, 20 grand for a dog. I'm like, fuck,
It's good money if
Yeah.
you do it right. Because some people do it sort of willy nilly and half-hearted and cheat, but they do it properly by the book and they get results, and that's why their dogs are some of the best in the UK, if not some of the best in the world.
yeah. I bet that's quite a good, like, for someone who's into that as well, a good passion and hobby sort of job,
course.
isn't it?
Like, I've been around dogs all my life. My dad used to race greyhounds, and so I've been around dogs all my life, and I had Rottweilers as a kid. Then I had French Bulldogs around about 14 years ago. No, I say 14, it was about 12 years ago. And then sort of started coming a bit of a phase where everyone was buying French Bulldogs. Then all of a sudden, everyone started breeding them. I was thinking, oh my God, they're going for a few quid. Then I started buying a couple more. Then I had a couple of litters out of the bitch I had. And it just went from them. But I got on the GB squad, so I didn't have time to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knocked that on the head. But I own a couple of dogs. I got about 9 dogs.
I'm always interested to see as well, you talked about going from that to the GB squad. You know, like when I was like 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever, I was always going out drinking, do you know what I mean, partying, stuff like that. How did you ever do a bit of that, or did you always navigate your way?
Yeah, my dad, my mum, if it wasn't for them, I don't know what I'd be doing. Probably be doing something that I shouldn't be doing, or potentially be in jail. Because the area I'm from, Faye is from the same area. We grew up in the same area. He'll tell you, it's not a very good area to grow up in. But luckily I had good parents that kept me on the right track. My father, for instance, he always, if I had a little thing of, I had a little drink and whatever else, and he showed me someone that was in sport and said, come and tell him, come and speak to him. So he brought him to me the one day and said, tell him. The guy saying, I'm not going to say their names because they're good sports people and they're high up in like Welsh sport, you get me? So he said, tell him. So he's like, listen, Joe, don't do it. Sport and drink don't mix. Don't mix. And he'll fuck your career. He said, they fuck mine. So that's what happened. I started gambling. And he, and this one wasn't a sports, like a sports star or whatever, but he brought a mate of his, and I grew up. He watched me grow up. This guy, he came to the house and he went, Robert, come here, tell him. So he said, Joe, no, listen, I could be a millionaire with the money I've had. He said, but I've fucking spunked it. He said, I'm doing thousands of pounds every other day or whatever, and I've done all my dough. He said, and then after he went, listen, he said, it's worse than drugs. He said, oh, if not, it's just as bad as drugs. He said, because once it gets you, and you're fucked. Now, I've never touched a drug, never smoked a fag, never smoked weed in my life. Don't get me wrong, I have a cigar now and again after my fights and whatever else. I don't drink. But yeah, he always brought someone that could show me that they were into sport, they had a promising future, but they decided to do these things that everyone else was doing and fuck their whole career. And for instance, there's a guy from Lanramie, Faye knows, played professional football, promising. Should have been, he played for Arsenal as growing up.
Mental.
As a young man. He's in jail. Now, he's from the same area, but he didn't. And I remember I was speaking to him at a party, and he said, Joe, if I had the parents you had and the father that you got, he said, I wouldn't have been doing what I was doing. I didn't have no one to guide me. He said, and I'd still be playing football. But now he's in jail, and he's looking at a long stretch. So for me to have the parents I got, I'm very blessed, and I'm just happy that they were able to grab me and just steer me to the right direction, and I'm just thankful to them, really. because otherwise I don't know where I wouldn't. I ain't gonna say like some of the people on podcasts and I'll be dead and this and that. Listen, I wouldn't. I'm not that sort of kid, but I could potentially be in jail, or I could potentially be doing things that I shouldn't be doing. So yeah, especially from the area I grew up in. But yeah, I'm just thankful to my mother and father.
Mate, that's awesome as well, because I think at that age, like 17, 18, it's so easy. You don't really believe in the people around you. You kind of think you're your own person, or you've got it all set. But someone with life experience to grab you and show you this is what you need to be doing is huge, isn't it? Because people don't get it. Like,
no, they don't. And I try and I see youngsters now, and they want to be boxers, and they were like, oh, can you show me this? Can you show me that? Says, yeah, no problem. Then the next couple of days, I see him on Instagram or on Facebook, and they're throwing up gang signs, hanging around, hands down their pants. I'm thinking, okay, you ain't serious. Or they got a bottle of bud in their hand or whatever the drink they drink in their hand with all their mates. They ain't serious. I never done all that. From when I left school, I went to college doing food, actually. I left college, I got onto the GB squad. And from then, I lived away from Monday to Thursday every week. Got on GB squad. I didn't hang out. Like, this is from, the age of 19. So 19, I was, and bear in mind, from when I left college, from when I left school, I wasn't out drinking and whatever else. I was going to the gym, coming home. I'd go out like with my mates on my bike or whatever, but I didn't hang around with troublemakers and people that are chilling on the streets, constant. We'd either go play football, rugby, or a couple of boys that I grew up with, Michael Ball, Patrick Ball, and their brother Billy Connors. He'd take us on the pads out the back, or we'd spar, or we'd be going for runs and stuff like that. But it's just like I said, there's youngsters out there that I haven't been through everything myself. I'm still learning about life and whatever else, but I try and give them advice on what I've seen happen to other people and the advice I've been given, trying to give it to these young people and say, what you're doing there's no end product to what you're doing. There's nothing. Life will just go on and on and on and on. Before you know it, you'll be 50, 60 in a council flat or a council house. There's nothing wrong with that, mind, but in a council house there's nothing behind you or nothing to look forward to.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I totally understand.
I try and educate them. If you want to do something, you have to hit 100 mile an hour. Otherwise, don't bother doing it.
Can't be half in or half out, can you?
Boxing ain't that kind of
I
sport.
think that's the same with anything, mine.
Of course, but in life, that's what my old man always said. You either go in 100% or don't bother. But boxing is where you can get hurt as well. So it's a little bit different. Same with a lot of sports, especially with the UFC and boxing and physical sports. You can go half-hearted into it because you can get hurt. So
yeah, the repercussions are severe, aren't they?
Very, very big.
Yeah, but I think like you said, there's nothing wrong with being in that position of the council flat. I like people just to be happy. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. But if you've got bigger goals and aspirations, then you've got to.
My mum, she owns her house. We used to live in the same council house that they bought. What was it? She's been there. How long Mum's been in that house, roughly? 40 years.
I come over in 42. No, 42. I come over in 82. So, yeah, about 40 years.
Council estate, she lives in the same house. They own the house, but still, it's a tight-knit community. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with living there at all, because that's how I grew up and that's how I got the morals I got, because I've been around them people. But at the same time, it's easy to go and get led in the wrong direction, because there's two types of people in that. There's people that just want to be, especially growing up as youngsters, young boys, gangsters. Then there's other people, especially from council estates. They're great at football, great at rugby, or great at boxing or whatever, and they want to get out. They want to get out of them areas. But there's people that just want to stay there and think they're gangsters and just be known in their area. I don't want to be known in the area. I want to be known globally.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's people that know me all around the world. So I'm halfway there. And that's always all I wanted to do growing up is be a professional sportsman, whether it was rugby, football, boxing. I decided to choose boxing, probably the hardest one out of them all. But yeah, it's a great sport, and I'm just happy that I'm on the path to where I need to be.
Takes a lot of dedication to do what you're doing, mate.
Of course, yeah.
When you're in training camp, you go away, don't you?
Monday, I'll do 2 weeks at a time, 2 maybe 3 weeks, depending on how I'm feeling. I live in Essex, Brentwood. My trainer Tony, so yeah, I'll stay up there. Obviously, I got 2 young kids and a missus, so I do miss them. And I got one boy on the way, so it's going to be even harder for me. So thank you very much, but it's going to be a lot harder for me when I got the newborn there as well. But yeah, is what it is. Sacrifice keeps you hungry. So
how's your missus and all cope with that?
She's got no choice, innit? I pay the bills.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has to be done. I like, she looks after my kids. She's a great mother, a great girlfriend, and yeah, she does everything that she needs to do and to keep the house together. Looks after my kids, even when I'm away. I come home and there's food there for me. The house is tidy, so I can't ask for a better girlfriend, really.
Yeah, need that support network really to do what you're doing, don't you?
It'd be a lot harder if for me, and I can't say I probably wouldn't be doing it, but I don't know if I'd be as far as I am if it wasn't for her understanding and whatever else. Because if I didn't have someone that kept me, she don't like me going out, she don't like me partying and whatever else. Like I said, I don't drink, but I do like a night out. Now, if I was out every other weekend, if I didn't have a missus, who knows? I could be drinking. I could be doing things I shouldn't be doing. So yeah, I'm just glad that she's here with me and she's on the same journey as me, and and in the future I'll be able to give her everything she wants.
Yeah, mate, that's huge as well. Like, obviously with your dad pointing that out to you at a young age, having a missus keep you on the track. Now, sometimes I think it's so easy to fall off and just assume, all right, that's good enough now, isn't it? But you need them people to keep you going.
Of course. Listen, Faye will tell you, my 3 belts I've got in the house, they're under my bed. I don't even look at them because I won a Commonwealth, I won a British, but obviously I didn't defend it 3 times, so you have to give that back. But I got a WBA Continental and a WBA International. Now, a lot of people would have them outs up, but they don't interest me at all because they're not my goal. Yeah, they're along the way and I win them along the way, but they stay under my bed because it's easily, if they're up on the wall and whatever else, it's easy to look at them and sort of be happy with what you've done and sort of, how can I say?
Get content, like, don't you? Yeah.
With what you've done. Yeah, I went to the Olympics, I went to Commonwealth Games and whatever else. I won European Championships in amateurs. I won loads of multi-nation tournaments and I had like 180 odd amateur fights. So yeah, and I'd done all that, and then I turned pro, I'm unbeaten and whatever else. But it's, like you said, it's easy to get content with what you've done, and then you start falling off the wagon. And it's just, for me, that's not what I'm about. That's not my goal. I made it clear in interviews and whatever else. My main goal is to win a world title. I'm not interested in nothing else. So for me, that's what I want, and that's my main goal.
Do you think that's this year you're gonna hopefully fight, or?
It totally depends. I just gotta keep doing my part, winning, and then hopefully everything will just fall nicely into place. That'd be my ideal situation.
Undeniable, basically.
Course, yeah, that's the plan. Obviously, I've been out was 16 months, and my points, my ranking points would have probably gone down a bit. But listen, I'll just keep chipping away at them, and yeah, until they they have to fight me, basically.
Yeah.
There's no, like in boxing, people say, oh, people are scared to fight this one. There's no one scared to fight no one. In boxing, everyone wants the same outcome and the same goal, which is win a world title and keep winning. And like, that's what I want. I don't care which world champion it is. I just need to get to a world title, and then it's down to me. It's my opportunity to snatch it from them.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I plan on doing.
Yeah. So you're in a great camp as well.
Yeah.
So do you find like sparring with the people you're in camp with, obviously like Conor Benn and stuff like that? Do you find like all you sort of beasts in the game bring each other on that much more?
Yeah, it's especially at this present moment, our gym's flying. You had Connor's win the other day. You had Ted Cheeseman fight a couple of weeks back, a week after mine. He got his win. Then you've got Felix Cash fighting on Saturday.
Yeah.
Then you've got Spider, Craig Richards fighting in a couple of weeks for a world title. Martin Ward, John Ryder fighting for eliminators for world titles. So we're all in big fights, especially in the near future. We're either fighting for world titles or in big eliminators or big fights. And and every time we're in the gym, we're pushing each other on. And like you said, the likes of Conor Benn, I'm sparring. And when I was sparring Ricky Burns, 3-weight world champion, Martin Wood, for instance, very experienced, fighting for an eliminator for a world title. And I'm constantly learning. Even though, like with Conor, he's inexperienced and whatever else, still now he might learn something off me and I might learn something off him in a spar, or we might be doing the same things and we have to sort of change certain things up. But everyone in the gym is always learning, and we got a great coach in Tony Sims as well. And like I said, we're always learning and we're always pushing each other on, and I think that's why we're getting the results we're getting, and we're all winning. And I believe I don't see why all of us can't win a world title.
Yeah, I say iron sharpens iron, doesn't it?
Of course, that's the saying, isn't it?
Yeah, you talked about obviously you're conscious about like your brain and not taking too many shots and stuff. So when you're sparring, then is it like do you spar hard often? Or is it
of course. It's you start going light and whatever else. I know I talked about it, like brain scans and all that. You start going light and start pulling shots back, and you might get into habits. And when you go into a ring and whatever else, you might do it in the fight. So you can't really do that. Don't get me wrong. If there's someone a lot lighter than you, then maybe you pull the shots back, but you still have to have the same intent and the same speed and whatever else just to replicate a fight. But at the same time, boxing is about hit and not get hit. Now, sometimes, you can get carried away and have a little tear up in the thing, but a couple through camp, it's not going to hurt you. But at the same time, you want to take little as possible. And that's what I try and do. I hit and not be hit. As you see Canelo, Floyd Mayweather, Sugar Ray Leonard, they're all class. And that's what they done, and their career went on and on and on. And Canelo he's had 50-odd fights, and he's only 32, 31, 32. And
that's mad, isn't it, when you think about it?
And he's still got another 4 or 5 years.
He's not going anywhere, is he?
He ain't going anywhere anytime soon. You had Floyd Mayweather boxing at 38, 39. So unbelievable. And then you got Sugar Ray Leonard, retired twice and came back. And he went on and on and on, and was in big fights constantly. So it's because they didn't take that many, and they were hit and not being hit. So for me, I just think in sparring, sparring's about learning, but at the same time, you have to have the same intent as you would going into a fight, because you could easily fall into bad habits as well.
Yeah, so you could build them, couldn't you, like you said? And
of course.
Talking about Floyd, what do you think about all this, like him fighting Logan Paul and all that sort of thing?
I hope he fights him and batters him.
I'm always interested to see what a boxer says about it.
Don't get me wrong, it brings new eyes to the sport, but at the same time, if they're fighting other YouTubers and then they're knocking each other out, so be it. But they're sort of taking the limelight away from boxers that actually risk everything and risk everything and sacrifice their whole lives to make a fraction of the money they're making.
Yeah, that's the bit that gets me a bit.
A fraction of the money they're making. Now, put him in with a fighter and see what happens to him.
Yeah.
Now, they can large it all they want on there and say, "This, I'll beat this one, I'll beat that one." But put him in with a fight and you'll see.
It was very well placed what they did on the weekend with Askren, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was like a set-up fight, wasn't it?
It seemed like, but at the same time, if you put him in a octagon with him, he's gonna deal with him, innit?
Oh yeah.
And he's a wrestler. He's not a stand-up fighter. And he's been. Don't get me wrong. Jake Paul. He's been training with boxers, and he's had 3 fights now. 4
Yeah,
fights.
I think 3.
3 fights. Yeah, he seems like he shapes up alright and shapes up well. And he looked good against Askren.
Yeah.
So he looked good. But at the same time, put him in with a fighter and he won't look as good, because when he's throwing, he'll have something coming back, counters, and he's going to be reluctant to throw then. And then you'll see how good he actually is. But yeah, if he wants to box, carry on boxing, yeah, it's good, because it brings he's bringing millions and millions of new eyes to the sport. So yeah, it's good. I'm not knocking it. It's just that what gets me is the fact that they, like I said, there's fighters out there that have sacrificed their whole lives for a fraction of their money, and they're getting paid silly. It's just.
I think it shows you as well how much money's in it,
Yeah.
which probably doesn't get divided equally in it.
And then you get promoters telling me there's no budget for a fight. So yeah, it's mad, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boxing is probably one of the most corrupt sports ever.
Yeah. Would you take a fight like that if they come knocking at your door?
And I'd knock him out within a minute.
Yeah.
Standard. That means that.
Get paid to fight him, like, yeah. Yeah, you'd have to take something like that, though, wouldn't you? Like you said, just to bring the eyes onto you and the money as well. Like.
Of course, and it's not that. Like you said, it's them new eyes that are on there. If you put on a display against someone like Jake Paul or another YouTuber, of course, yeah, I'll take it. Especially when they're offering the money they're offering.
Yeah.
Say, no problem.
I think everyone was calling him out on the weekend, weren't they?
Yeah, of course.
Every man and his dog, like.
I might jump on in tomorrow.
Get on it, mate. I'll clip a bit of this if you want.
Yeah.
Send it.
Jake Paul, you little pussy. Nah, he's a bit big for me.
I don't think he'd be able to touch you, though, mate.
Nah, he wouldn't, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? But like you said, there's some serious going involved in that game. I can't remember. I think they did like 1.5 million pay-per-views or something on the weekend.
It's massive, and like that's not including his purse.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what he'd be getting paid on top of his purse? I'm not sure what his purse was, but them pay-per-view buys divided up. Oh, silly money.
It's mental, isn't it?
Silly money.
Yeah, what an opportunity. I think Askren just went in there, knew he was going to get battered probably. He just took the money, didn't he?
Did you look the shape on him?
Yeah, I know, he did. He had
no.
hip surgery like 3 or 4 months ago, I think.
No.
It's just a payday for him. He knew maybe he thought he was going to win, I guess. I don't know if he'd go in there thinking he was going to lose, but maybe for $1 million you might like, innit?
Do you know what? Do you know I'd love to see him fight? Maidana. Maidana's put on some weight. Give him 3 weeks. Maidana'd knock him spark out.
I think he's going to play it very tactical, though, and he's never going to go and fight someone he knows he's going to get battered.
Listen, hats off to him. He's young. I think he's 20, 21, 22?
Something like that, yeah.
He's but under 25 anyway.
Yeah.
He's a multi-millionaire. Hats off to him. He's done what he's had to do. He's worked hard in whatever field he's worked in. Yeah, he's just capitalising on every bit of hype he gets.
It's got to be hard to be that hated as well, like, innit? Take all that pressure.
It is, but at the same time, when you're a multi-millionaire and you're living up in the hills somewhere with a mansion, you ain't hearing anyone calling you a prick or whatever. You ain't going to hear it, are you?
Yeah.
And every time you jump in your Lamborghini, someone's shouting out the window, you're a fucking wanker.
Yeah.
All you have to do is rev the engine, you ain't going to hear them.
Yeah,
so yeah, it don't really matter, does it?
I think whatever you do, you get shit anyway, don't you?
I even get shit.
Yeah.
Fair get shit from playing golf. And he's not even a professional. He's only playing for fun.
I think it was you giving him the shit from what I seen.
No, it wasn't me. Shane Bain, little hater. And isn't he?
Yeah, mate. It's good though, like, surround yourself with people like you're obviously both real positive guys in it, and you're both striving for greatness like us.
You won't catch me bothering with like plonkers. Like that's the way I put it. They're plonkers. Fair, he's on his journey to be an actor and whatever else. He's always positive. He's good to have around, and he always brightens up the room. Same with the people I chill with, like my mate Sorrel. He's got his own business with cars, renting cars. So they're positive people. My cousins with the dogs, they're all focused and striving to do what they need to do to be the best at what they're doing. So yeah, I don't really chill with Muppets. Yeah, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, they say your network's your net worth, innit? They reckon.
Of course, yeah. That's the
I
same.
never used to believe it, mate. My parents used to say to me, "Oh, you want to watch out, bothering with them? Like you'll get." I always used to think I make my own decisions. Like,
Yeah.
but you do get influenced, and you bother with people who are doing stupid things, and you just think that's the normal then.
Normal, yeah. Of
Yeah.
course. Like I said, my dad always kept me away from that, and same with my mum. She always had a moan at me about hanging around with certain people growing up, and then when you sit back and you sort of think a couple of years later, and then you think, you know what, she's right. And same with my dad, he was the same. So yeah, I'm just glad I didn't bother with these plankers.
It's hard to do though. It's hard to cut the ties
It is,
sometimes,
because-
isn't it?
But sometimes, like in school, for instance, your mates, the ones you normally chill with, might be in a different class, whatever else, and you're stuck in a class, and you've got to sort of communicate and bother with these people. So you might be sitting next to it, and you get pally. He might be a rogue on the street. Now, you'll end up chilling with him. You're going to pick up little habits and little things that he's doing, and you'll end up doing them yourself. So yeah, it's just
We're like
just
sponges,
natural.
aren't we?
Of course,
You are like, yeah.
literally.
I think it makes a hell of a difference. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I found myself doing stupid things like over the years when you bother with people, and but I like to think the hardest thing, like you say, is to detach yourself, and you feel like you're kind of doing a disservice. But I think if you do that as well, I think it does better things for them in the long term. If you can detach, become the person you are, it's kind of inspiring, isn't it?
Yeah,
For them
well,
to see like someone come from the same area as them,
it's,
do the
it's
things
a,
you're doing.
It's a yeah, it's like a little eye opener for them, I suppose, because yeah, if you're doing, you're elevating yourself and going on, you're thinking, fucking hell, what am I doing with my life? Do you get me? It's an eye opener. If they would have sort of chose something and been passionate about a certain thing, maybe, and sort of grabbed it and run with it, then they could have been up there. Do you get me? But
Yeah,
for me, I always knew what I wanted to do. Like I said, whether it was football, rugby, boxing, I ended up choosing boxing, and I ran with it. And as a youngster, I wasn't worried about money because my mother and father made sure I had the best of everything. And same with, so like I said, so you ain't worried about money, you ain't worried about bills until you grow up and you become a man. Now I wish I would have chose football because they're getting paid millions. Now, but boxing I was enjoying it the most. Now, obviously my goals I set out and I wanted to do, and I've done them. I've hit every single goal so far, and the only one left is now to win a world title. But yeah, I knew what I wanted to do from when I left school. But yeah, I just knew I wanted to be a an athlete, whether it was football, rugby, or boxing. Like I said, I chose the boxing, and here we are now.
do you think you could have gone the full way with the football, like if you chose that?
I don't know. It depends. I reckon I could have. I would have played lower league, but it just totally depends on it. Like I said, I was playing football and rugby at the same time, so my passion was split between the two. If I would have focused on something 100% on one thing, I reckon I could made in football or rugby. Now I was a very good rugby player. I was a bit small, but I was quick thinking, and I was ahead of people all the time. Anyone that played with me knew, and they always knew they were in for a hard game because I was one of them horrible scrum halves. So I'll stamp all over you. I was just horrible. They like a lot of people hated playing against me. But obviously the people that were playing with me loved it because I was just causing murder. Now, I think I could have gone on. Like I said, I played from 11 with Cardiff schools, East Wales, Cardiff, all the way up till I was like 16. So, then I chose boxing. I just sort of chucked it to the back. And like I said, you don't think about money and anything else. You just do what you're enjoying as a kid, and that's what I was enjoying was boxing. And like football, I think I fell out of love with it a little bit, and there was a bit of favoritism in certain things and in certain areas, with football when I was playing for FAW and everything else, but I sort of put that on the back burner, carried on with the rugby, still playing football, but I was just playing for a club, then boxing, and then I just packed them all in and went for boxing, because it was either me put on weight, which I tried to do for years and years for the rugby without boxing. Then when I started boxing, I had to lose weight for the boxing.
Yeah.
And then I started putting on weight. I was thinking, fucking hell, I can't make this weight no more. So I had to go up weights. I was thinking, fuck, I should have stuck with the rugby. But yeah, I was a bit too small in the end. Like, don't get me wrong, I would have been a lot bigger than what I am now. But yeah, I'm glad I chose the boxing, to be honest, and it's taken me all around the world. And yeah, it's continually being good to me. So yeah, I'm just glad I chose that.
Yeah. Well, it's going well, isn't it? And,
so far, so good.
how do you find it, like, in them moments, you know, like them pivotal moments, you're like walking out in front of the stadium and all? How does your head, like, compute that?
Who's this? One man. Yeah, it's good. It's a good feeling, because that's what you want. When I walked out in the Millennium Stadium, well, Principality Stadium, on the AJ Takam bill, I was a floater. Now, a floater means if there's a stoppage, you jump on. Now, bear in mind, I should have been on the show anyway, because I should have had my own slot, because I was the only Cardiff boy on the show.
I've never heard of that before.
So
where someone hops on.
So that's it. So, like, basically, if there's a stoppage, then... So we were expecting Katie Taylor to stop her opponent. She didn't. Now, then you had Dylan White. We're expecting him to stop Hellenius. Now, he didn't. So they said, Joe, you're not going on. So I'm fuming now. I've been in the arena from fucking 4 o'clock. And this is coming up to like 9 o'clock. And I've been in there with my gloves on and wrapped and everything. Warmed up about 6 times. So I said, you know what, fuck this. I said, take my gloves off. They've took my gloves off. 2 seconds later, they've come running in. Joe, get your gloves on. I was like, fuck, you know. So I'm rushing to put my gloves on. My cousin Lukey was in the change rooms with me. He goes everywhere with me. I was like, listen, fucking help me put these on. So he's helped me put the gloves on. They're tying them when they go into the ring. Now, I forgot my gum shield. I told Lukey to run back. So I'm walking out and I fucking rammed. Now, and I'm thinking, I can see little, you know, like the camera flashes. I can see the flashes everywhere. I'm thinking, oh my God. I'm walking to the ring and I didn't feel nervous at all. I had the little butterflies. And I was just, for me, the only thing that could beat that moment was fighting in the same stadium with the same crowds, but just for a world title. That's the only thing that beat it, that buzz, because it was fucking amazing. I've walked in. Dylan White jumped out. Go and touch my glove. He said, good luck, Joe. I've jumped in. Now, I cracked on fight. I got the stoppage. No, I didn't get a stoppage. I was fuming. But it went from a 10-rounder to a 6-rounder to a 4-rounder. And I didn't know it was a 4-rounder until going into the last round. Now, I was fucking fuming because I would have tried to get him out of there, yeah. But, yeah, it was a great experience. And there's nights like that, that's what, as a fighter, that's what you want.
Yeah, I bet that was a hell of a weird thing, just waiting around. You could be on, you could be not.
It's a part of boxing. It's a part of going through the early stage of your career, especially being a high-profile amateur boxer, because you're going to get a platform, which I did. I boxed my first one in the Echo Arena in Liverpool. It's changed to something now. I don't know what it's called now, but that's a famous boxing arena. Then my second fight was in Wembley Stadium a week after. Now, me walking out in Wembley Stadium as a
week after?
A week after,
it? Yeah.
Saturday after. So I had the day off and then went 2 days off, and then I went straight back to Essex, trained, and then went straight down to Wembley, and then fought there. Then 3 weeks later, I boxed in Bramall Lane Stadium. So you're given the platforms. Now, in Bramall Lane, I was a floater as well. But a mate of mine, Lawrence Okoli, was on the show as well. He was he wasn't afloat. And Anthony Fowler was also on the show, a mate of mine. And we're all in the same change rooms. And I was like, fucking, you better stop him. So I'm thinking, so he's Lawrence Coley have gone out. I touched his glove. No, Anthony Fowler went out first. Touched his glove. I said, listen, please stop him. He went, leave it with me. Boom, he've gone out and stopped him. Coley's there. I said, listen, fuck face. I said, you better stop him. He's going, he said, come on, bro. Gone out, stopped him. I was loving life. Got me out there on the Errol Spence and Cal Brooks show. And that was another great experience because I think it was around about 20,000 people in it at that time. And that was an amazing experience because I got on just before George Groves fought, and that was 2 before the main event. So that was a great experience there. But yeah, it's all a part of going through that early stage of your career, because when you're a high-profile amateur, like I said, they'll give you the platform, whatever else, but these are the things that you need to have in the early parts of your careers to sort of build you as a fighter, because these things might happen, or you might be ready and whatever else, and something happens. I don't know, like anything, for instance, could be happening in the arena or whatever else. Then you're like, it might throw you off a little bit. You might have to take your gloves off or whatever, or you might need to go to a pee while you wear your gloves on. There's little things in the change rooms that happen that could throw you off. So all these little things going through the early stage of your career will build you as a fighter.
Yeah, just getting used to dealing with these little nerves and the things. Because, like, I don't know, sometimes I, like, freak myself out and I get into the position, like earlier starting this, I was like, fucking hell, have I done that? Yeah. You know, if I turn the camera on, you get these, like, weird things, don't you, that get in your head when they shouldn't. Like, it's like all about trying to be in the moment, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. It's anything. That's in anything, though, isn't it?
It is.
It's like you said, you want to show whether you turn them on, but I watched you actually turn them on. So yeah, it's mad. But yeah, your mind goes overtime.
It does, yeah. Yeah. Do you have any, like, sort of techniques you got to try and bring yourself back down from that?
Not really. I don't. Not really. It's just like, for me, it's sorry, I got sore lips. I've been running out in a cold weather and playing golf. I don't know whether there's sunburns or chaps. I'm not sure. But yeah. What was I saying?
I think we were talking about bring yourself down from, like, that heightened feeling of sort of worrying about all the small things.
Yeah, I don't really. Where I've fought as an amateur and I've gone 180 odd amateur fights, I've been in the ring so many times and whatever else, and I've had things happen in change rooms and whatever else. I've just learned to go with it. Just, it's not like everyone gets a little bit of nerves, but people can deal with it. I learned to deal with it with mine when I was an amateur. So nerves, I can settle mine down straight away. Everyone gets the butterflies. Nerves and butterflies are different. Like, butterflies is that little thingy feeling in your stomach. Now nerves is when you like little anxiety and you start panicking, and you can settle it down. Your heart rate will start flying up when you're nervous.
Yeah.
Settle that down. I can do that. But then butterflies, you need them butterflies to make you sharp. Otherwise, you're not going to perform. As simple as that. If you're not nervous or have a little bit of butterflies, you won't perform. And like I said, there's no techniques. It's just I just learned to calm myself down. Just over the years and years of practicing the breathing, the slow breathing. Anthony Fowler used to do a thing called, I don't know what he was doing, Qigong, he used to call it. He used to put his hands up, breathe. I used to laugh at him. In the end, I started trying to do it.
Yeah.
And then it started working, but I just don't do it with the hands. I just do it when I'm just calm, relaxed, learn how to bring my heart rate right down, and then I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people are sort of bringing breathing techniques into their game and stuff now. Yeah. Loads of people like jumping on the Wim Hof and stuff, innit? I try it every now and again.
Of course, well, I don't know, that Qigong, Fowler started doing it, and I think a few of the boys started doing it. I used to take the piss out of him.
I'll have to check that out.
Qigong or I don't know. He's a lunatic, he is.
Yeah, I see him on social media and stuff all the time. He's
proper. He makes me laugh, man.
Yeah. So I expect it's good, though, having all these connections and stuff, people to go back and forth on with things. And
yeah, of course, Fowler's a very good mate of mine. Through boxing, he's one of my best mates. There's loads of them. You got Goliath, Fraser Clark, like Anthony Fowler, well, Josh Boazzi, Lawrence Okoli, Josh Kelly, all these fighters, Aston Brown, Josh Taylor, all these fighters, and even Kez Ashfaq, Jack Baton, these are the boys that I've went through my amateur experience with, and they become close friends, like some of my best friends. So, like on a weekend, I was up in Birmingham, and Galal Yafai came across, met. I haven't seen him in ages, because obviously COVID and whatever else, but he's one of my best mates, not just through boxing, but he's genuinely one of my best mates. So yeah, it's good to have these sort of connections and whatever else, and yeah, it's good to have networks, especially all around the country. I could go to any corner of this country and have someone that I know there, and be treated like family up there.
So when you're like out and about, do people like recognize you? Do you get people come up to you and stuff in the street? And
yeah, sometimes it's not so much in Cardiff. People do, but they don't really come up to you and whatever else, because I'm from Cardiff and I've been flying around it everywhere.
Used to seeing you around, like, yeah.
So normal, I go to the same places. I act the same. I don't act like a total knobhead. But yeah, people do recognize me. Like I was in, I went to a chicken shop earlier. A mate of mine, Shaz, he got a place in Cardiff called Wing Shack, or Wingstack. Yeah, Wingstack. So he got a place called Wingstack. So I went there for lunch, and there was I say lunch. It was about 3:00. All the kids had come out of school in Cardiff High, and you had a couple of the boys there. Joe Cordina, da 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 da. And then you have the cocky ones. Joe, let's have a spar. I was like, oh, not today, mate. And the one was like, yeah. I said, you got a pair of gloves? I said, I got 2 pairs of gloves in the car. Oh, no. He said, let's have a slapping competition. I said, you slap me, I'll fuck you up. I'll fuck you up. Yeah, you might recognise me, but I'll fuck you up. I'm from the street. Do you get me? I'm not a fucking gangster, but I got things. You put your hands on me, I'll fuck you up regardless. I thought, you little cheeky fucker. So everyone else was like, oh, can I have a photo? I was like, yeah. And I thought, you know what?
There's always one there.
Yeah, there's always one cocky little prick. And I was sat down having food on my own, actually. I was eating on my own, and they were all still there. I felt like calling them over. I said, listen, bro, do you know, like, you acting like that, it's not going to get you nowhere in life. I just wanted to give him a little bit of, like, an education of how to act and carry yourself. No one thinks you're big. No one thinks you're hard or bad or whatever just because you're saying that to me. It's like, once I go away from there, I don't even think about you, really.
Yeah.
It's like, apart from that, so like, I'm never going to remember you.
Yeah,
so,
was he actually fit? I wonder what's going through his head. He's just trying to look cool in front of his mates, isn't it? Yeah.
Like,
but you don't though, like you said.
You don't. You look like a plonker.
Yeah.
Because if I was a horrible fucking guy, do you get me? I'd say, who the fuck you do? Boom. I'd just slap him. But I'm not. I said that at the start, I said, when he said to spar, I said, no, not today, boys. I said, I got 2 pairs of gloves in the car. And they were like, nah. And then you had that one who wasn't in his school uniform, who's probably mitched off school thinking he's bad again, with his hood up, tied. Yo, Joe, let's have a spar then. I said, oh, not today, bro. I said, I just come back from the gym. He was like, come on, let's have a slapping competition. I said, you slap me. I said, I'll fuck you up.
I wonder what was actually going through his head at that time.
Yeah,
like.
Well, he must have thought I was serious, because he puts his hand on me, regardless if he's a kid or not. He obviously I think he's about year 11 or something. But regardless, kid or not, you put your hands on me, I'll slap you. Like that. Ping. Have that.
Teach him a bit of respect.
Yeah, respect. That's it. Respect.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never do that. Never do that growing up.
I think, like, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you do. None of that matters. It's all about who you are and how you treat people, isn't it?
Yeah, how you carry yourself. And like I said, I don't hang around with plonkers. Now, you'd never catch Faya. You'd never catch any of my mates or my cousins going on like that. Never. It's always, I mate you, okay, shaking hands. Respect. Even as a kid. Don't get me wrong. If my dad said, go and tell him he's a fucking prick, he'd only be to his mates, but I'd go and tell him. I'd listen to whatever my dad said. He wouldn't say that, but I'm just telling you.
Bit of banter or something.
Bit of banter,
like,
yeah.
There's a difference.
It's a difference. But he wouldn't... he always taught me, have respect for your elders, don't, like, if you're in a group of adults, don't speak until you're spoken to, because that's adult talk. It's just growing up in, I think this area is it's just fucked. It's just fucked.
I think as well, like, some people think it's so easy to send you a message calling you this, that, or the other. They think they can do it then.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's a different world, isn't it? This social media world we're living in. Like,
crazy.
How do you find that? Like, do you engage much on there, or do you trying to keep away from it?
Yeah, no, I do. I have to, because it's a part of what we do. Do you get me? And that's how you build a profile. Don't get me wrong. I'm not massively into like calling out people and trying to disrespect people and carrying myself in a certain way. I just be respectful. Don't get me wrong. If someone pokes the buttons, then yeah, I do get angry and whatever else. But I know it only takes one person to call you a dickhead. Before you know, he tells someone else, and before you know it, 30 people are calling you a dickhead, and then they're telling other people. So I just know, I just want to be liked. I don't care if people don't like me. It's not a problem. I just want to be liked as a boxer, as a person, because I don't disrespect anyone unless you disrespect me. I don't disrespect them. I was always nice to people. I always say hiya. But yeah, I'm just one of them people that I'm easy to get on with. That's not a problem, and I'll talk to anyone. And listen, I'll tell you my fucking life story straight away. Like, you can't shut me up, as you can fucking see. But yeah, you like, people can't shut me up, and I just talk all day, and that's how, like, I'm easy to get on with.
Yeah,
Easy.
mate, I can tell that. You're down to earth the second you turned up, like, in it. And
of course, it's like, some people you'll speak to, or they've been on the telly and whatever else, and you think, what a prick, like, fucking
it's
hell.
just an ego stroke, like, in it. I think
ego,
it's,
ego, like, fucking hell. Like I told you, we from a council estate. There's no egos in a council estate. You'd be brought straight back down to earth.
Yeah, you got to be real over anything else, innit? That's what it's all about. But yeah, have you got a final message for someone who's like a youngster looking to get into the boxing?
Yeah, I have, actually. Just, like, believe in yourself. One, there's a few things now. You fucked now because you've asked me to say something, and I'm gonna talk all day.
Let's go.
Nah, I'm on. Believe in yourself. Work hard, and hit it 100 mile an hour. And sacrifice keeps you hungry at all times. So them 4 things, and how can I say? There's going to be people that are going to give you advice, but you have to use your own head to make sure to discover whether it's going to be the right advice. You've got to use your head and take, like, you might give me a little bit of advice. Next man will give me advice. Next man will give me advice. Okay, they might all make sense, but you've got to think, okay, what's going to work? You might take a little bit from it, a little bit from there, a little bit from there, and you just add it together, and then you go with it. And that's what I've done my whole career, my boxing career. So yeah, for me, the main things for me is the sacrifice, which keeps you hungry at all times. Work hard. Keep away from fucking idiots. That's the main thing for kids, especially this day. You've got people fucking walking around with knives in their fucking trousers and whatever else. Like, get a grip of yourself. For what?
Dangerous road to go down, isn't it?
A dangerous road to go down. But yeah, so for me, just sacrifice, work hard, listen to your parents, respect your parents, and and take advice, good advice of good people.
Class, man. Yeah, people need to hear it, innit? Get on the path. Chase your dreams, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, where can people find you, mate?
To be honest, I like to get my phone here. I don't know. I'm sure there's 2 seconds. Let me tell you. Instagram is Joe Cordina _91. There's only one Joe Cordina anyway. No, actually, it's 2 of my dad.
That's something I wanted to ask you, actually.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from? Like,
Cordina is an Italian name, but we're Maltese. We're from Gozo.
Right.
So yeah, Ein Selam in Gozo. Faye has been a lovely place in it, Step. Facebook, under Joe Cordina. You'll see it in me on there anyway, because I got as a boxing photo, my belts and whatever else. And on Twitter, let me just check what I am on there. Joe Cordina _91. And actually today I just come on TikTok as well. So
watch out. You dancing or?
I bust some moves. Cordina 00. I did have a TikTok account before, it called Joe Cordina, but for some reason I can't log into it. So yeah, Cordina00 on TikTok.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming in. Big thanks to Faye as well.
No thanks.
For sorting
no
it out.
problem at all.
And yeah, good luck on winning them world titles, mate.
Yes, of course. Once I win a world title, I'll be back.
100%, mate.
I'll
Love
be
to have you back.
Of course.
Take it
Cheers,
easy.
mate. Ta-ra now.